Welcome back to another episode of the Ian Fritts Show. Ladies and gentlemen, the college football playoff rankings just released. I'm talking about 3-4 minutes ago. We updated the rankings on here so we have the correct top 25. And there were a little bit of shockers, not too different from the AP, but Missouri's in there. So we're going to be doing a Missouri game, which I didn't think I was going to be doing. So the gut had to react quickly. I'm talking 3 minutes ago, I put the OU Missouri game on here, and boom, the gut told me who we're picking. So that's the instant reaction type stuff I give you guys. I was going to do instant reaction of the rankings, but I think we might do that in a couple weeks, starting when it starts to be a little more clear and maybe a little more foggy, depending on what happens down the stretch here. But without further ado, we're going to jump right into the games. Alabama -2.5 at LSU. Currently, Alabama, the 11 seed in the college football playoff rankings. LSU, I believe, was number 15. So LSU having the two losses, Alabama having the two losses. There is a discrepancy there. Alabama, they clearly think, is the better two-loss team than the LSU Tiger team. Quite frankly, I think this game right here is a playoff eliminator game. Here's why. Mainly for Alabama. Alabama, if you get to 3 losses in the SEC, virtually no chance you're making it to the SEC title game unless absolute unhinged chaos happens these last 4 weeks of the season. For LSU, I don't think, now, that's the thing about thinking, ladies and gentlemen, it can get you into trouble sometimes. I don't think with 3 losses, the committee, especially one of those losses being to a USC team that is nowhere near the top 25, I don't think the committee would look at an LSU with 3 losses. However, if they play well down the stretch and chaos happens around them, a 2-loss SEC, 2 losses in the SEC, LSU could make it to the SEC championship game and then make the playoff that way. Very slim chance, but both of these teams, regardless, they need to win this football game. And I'm saying something, it sounds like I'm saying something revolutionary. I'm not. Every team wants to win every game on their schedule. No doubt in my mind about that. But this game right here, there's a little bit of added emphasis because you lose this game, your chances at the postseason virtually gone. Now, looking at Alabama here, Tuscaloosa may burn to the ground if they lose this football game. Because as I just stated, Alabama loses this football game, their season and their season goals are over. You're not making the playoff as a 3-loss Alabama team. No way. You lose to Vanderbilt, you lose to LSU, and you lose to some other team that is escaping. Tennessee. You lose to Vandy, Tennessee, and LSU. One of those is probably going to be a playoff team in Tennessee. The other two, no. Alabama, they lose this game, they're done. Their dreams, their aspirations in the first year under Kalen DeBoer, all thrown out the window, and it's not even mid-November yet. If you told me that in the summer, if you told me that last year when they hired Kalen DeBoer after Nick Saban, GOAT, retired, I would have been shocked. I would have been devastated because I was really high on Kalen DeBoer. Still am. Still going to tout him as a top 10 coach. Maybe not the best in the country, but he's really good. But this is a disappointing season if you lose this. It's already disappointing for an Alabama fan because they're always on top of the world. You're not on the top of the world anymore, and that's okay. Not all of us are. Hand up. I'm not on the top of the world, and neither are you anymore. And you're going to be really down in the dumps if you lose three times this year. I can't even imagine a world where Alabama has 3 regular season losses in SEC play. They've dominated, absolutely dominated for the better part of a decade and a half here. It will be devastating. I would probably send in the National Guard to Tuscaloosa right now just to be prepared, just to get out ahead of it. Because there's a possibility Alabama loses this football game, ladies and gentlemen. And I would go ahead, whoever becomes the president, I would go ahead and say, hey, we need to get the National Guard down there and protect, okay? Because I think this place could burn to the ground if Alabama loses this football game. Now, LSU, Brian Kelly, is he going to be the head coach after this game? Now, I'm not putting him on the hot seat. I'm not starting any rumors. Nobody's told me anything. I don't want to start that rumor. But I think the question, if LSU loses this game, I think the question can start to be asked because you lose the first game of the season against USC team that actually is not very good. You probably could have lost to South Carolina team. You definitely should have lost that game to Ole Miss. You didn't lead the entire game, yet you won. How does that happen? You go to overtime and you win. And then you have a loss a couple weeks ago. These are things that LSU shouldn't stand for, and they shouldn't stand for with the recruiting classes they have, with the talent they have, with the coaches they have. Now, I know this is the first year with the new defensive coordinator. They've looked better on that side of the ball, but 3 losses, first weekend of November, it would be a tough sell for Brian Kelly. At that point, this is his 3rd year there. He should be building something already that should be a little better than the product LSU is offering on the field at this moment. Now, I don't think he's going to be fired, but I wouldn't doubt LSU and the people in Baton Rouge start to get a little uneasy, start calling for his name. They probably started calling for his name after the USC game. I would think those thoughts and those feelings would start to come up from the surface, and we would hear about it a little bit more from Baton Rouge. Now, these are all hypotheticals, but the hypotheticals in this game might be the biggest in all of college football. 2 teams had aspirations of winning the entire thing this year. More so Alabama side, less so LSU, but they both expected to be in the postseason. One of these teams, possibly both, will not be there. Definitely the loser of this game, about a 0.1% chance of being in the postseason after this game. I can't think of a game with bigger implications than this one right here, folks. Let's get into a couple of the numbers, and then I'll tell you what the gut thinks, ladies and gentlemen. Look, Alabama, number 12 offense in the country. They score points, and they score them in bunches. Now, offense hasn't looked as stout the last couple of weeks. Jalen Milroe, rumors are he may be injured. He may have something with his left leg or right leg. Can't remember exactly which one off the top of my head, but a lower body injury for Jalen Milroe is possible. No, nothing confirmed. Nothing confirmed. So, but just looking at him, reports, he doesn't look fully healthy. Okay. Now, defensively, LSU, they're better than they were last year, still about middle of the road, 43rd in the country. And a couple weeks ago, they faced Marcel Reed. Now, they weren't prepared to face Marcel Reed. However, I think stylistically, football-wise, Marcel Reed, he's a little bit of a less quality Jalen Milroe. What does that mean? He runs the ball extremely well, and he has a nice deep ball. Jalen Milroe, those are probably his 2 strengths. He runs the ball extremely well, and he has a nice deep ball. Now, LSU, they have time to prepare for Jalen Milroe. They didn't for Marcel Reed, but Marcel Reed torched them. Is that something they've made adjustments for in the past 2 weeks? Or is Alabama going to be able to do the same thing Texas A&M did with Marcel Reed? That's something to look out for Alabama's high potent offense against this improved, but still not stellar LSU defense. Okay, flipping over to Bama defensively. You would think, based on the media and the corrupt media, corporate agenda, you would think Alabama's defense has been absolutely garbage this year, and it's not been up to snuff. However, you're looking at the number 13 scoring defense in all of college football. I believe they're top 10 in stop rate, which is always a good quality to have in a defense. And they're going up against a defense or an offense in LSU that scores points, but Garrett Nussmeier, he's a little Sussmeier. I'm going to start calling him Garrett Sussmeier, okay? And because he likes to throw the ball to the other team. Now, I said it a couple weeks ago. He throws a nice ball. He's got talent. He has all of those things, but he's got to learn to rein it in a little bit. You can't just throw it willy-nilly to the other team. That's not going to win you football games. It's not going to win you this one against Alabama on Saturday night either. Garrett Sussmeier, you've got to become Garrett Nussmeier, okay? Now, what does the gut say in this football game, ladies and gentlemen? Boom. The gut says LSU plus 2.5 is the play. Now, who wins? LSU wins this football game. I think Garrett Nussmeier is no longer, I think Garrett Sussmeier is no longer Garrett Sussmeier. He is Garrett Nussmeier. No turnovers from Garrett Well, I can't say no turnovers because I think he's going to have one. But he's not going to make a catastrophic mistake in this football game. And I think that's what the gut is saying. Now, I can't say that definitively, but that's what the gut's telling me. And I tell you what, listen to the gut, ladies and gentlemen. I like LSU in this one, plus the 2.5. Next game up. This might be the game of the weekend. I know I just talked about a game of the weekend, and I can have multiple. Sue me, don't. Colorado, minus 3.5 at the Texas Tech Red Raiders. Pew, pew, pew. Have some family. Red Raider fans, hope you're tuned into this video. You might like who the gut tells me to pick, or you won't, depending on how you want Tech to either win or lose this game. Got to take a sip here. You want a mug? Let me know. We just had one order come in. We're going to ship it out here in a second. We don't have a shipping facility, but it's going to go out nonetheless. Now, this so far in the season, to me, is the biggest test for Colorado. Yes, they played Nebraska early in the year. Nebraska, okay football team. They played Kansas State earlier in the year. Kansas State's probably not as good as we thought they were. Hand up, including me. Also, they had Kansas State at home. They have to go into the tortilla factory in Lubbock, Texas. Some of you don't understand that, but in Lubbock, Texas, they throw tortillas at you and they throw them on the field. It's a hectic environment. They got a new addition to that stadium down there. It's very cool looking. Very cool looking. I will say that. Now, Colorado, these Buffaloes, they're going to have to focus up. You got tortillas flying at you left and right. It's hard to play some football. Now, hand up, never done that before, but I can imagine. Look, I'm drop back to pass. I'm Shedeur Sanders. Ooh, I got Travis Hunter running a deep ball right there. Tortilla, boom, right in my grill. It may not happen, but it could happen. Those Tech fans are no joke. They're probably going to throw tortillas in the middle of play. I don't know what that says about them, how good of a human they are. I'm not sure. Nonetheless, the tortillas will be flying. You have to watch out if you are a Colorado Buffalo. It's their biggest test so far. On the road, hostile environment against a Tech team coming off one of the biggest wins from anybody all year, beating an undefeated Iowa State team. Electric game-winning drive to finish that one out. The Buffaloes need to be on the lookout, okay? The Red Raiders, not a team to be messed with right now. Now, with all of that being said, is this a bad spot for Texas Tech? Look, you just had the high. You're riding a high. You're about as high as you can get if you're a Texas Tech fan right now. Maybe not, but you're pretty high. You just beat an undefeated Iowa State team, an Iowa State team that was coming off of a bye, mind you, on the road. You beat them in Ames, Iowa, hard place to win, and you're coming back to your place. You have a top 20 team coming into your building. However, that top 20 team, 2 first-round picks, 2 top 10 picks, they're coming off of a bye. You have Deion Sanders. You have all the hype in the world. A lot more eyeballs on you than there were in previous weeks because people are talking about you now. You have a good win. You have the media circus of the Colorado Buffaloes coming to town. Is this a bad spot for Texas Tech? I don't know the head coach down there. I'm not personal friends. I'm not an acquaintance with him. I'm not sure how he runs his program. But you got to stay focused. You could easily be too high physically, mentally, whatever you want. After a win against Iowa State, you got to stay focused if you're Texas Tech, if you're the head coach down there, if you're the players down there, with this media circus and the Colorado Buffaloes coming to town. Now, Travis Hunter, favorite to win the Heisman right now. You're going to have to account for him if you're a Texas Tech fan. And yes, I'm talking about the fans. You're going to have to account for him as a fan. You got to lock him down. That's the guy you throw your tortillas at if you're a Texas Tech Red Raider. You lock him in on Travis Hunter, offense, defense, on the sideline, whatever you have to do if you're a Texas Tech fan, you have to throw tortillas at that guy. Unhinged amount of tortillas, just boatloads. I'm talking, they make tortilla packs of 45, 50, 45, that's probably, of 400, 500 tortillas. I'm talking huge stacks of tortillas. You got to unload that sucker on Travis Hunter on the sideline. I'm not calling for violence. I'm not calling for that. But I'm just saying, if I was a Texas Tech fan, if I wanted to win this football game, if I wanted some more momentum, 2 top 25 wins back to back, that's that. I'm not saying I would do it, but I'm saying it's a way to help your team. They're going to need you. They're going to need you because Colorado has a lot of talent offensively and defensively. Travis Hunter plays both sides. You got to account for him. Tortillas may be able to help your team out. Just saying. Now, let's get to some numbers for Colorado and Texas Tech, ladies and gentlemen. Colorado, we know it. We love it. Some people hate it. Shedeur Sanders, awesome quarterback. He's touting in here. 32 ranked offense in the country. They put up points, ladies and gentlemen. Now, Texas Tech, the defense has been suspect pretty much all year. It's really hard to watch them try to stop people. And they just continually let it happen. They just, kind of fold over a little bit sometimes. It happens in college football. They have the 103rd ranked scoring defense in all of college football. Yeah, all of it. Points wise, yards, they're in the triple digits as well. It's not a good defense from Texas Tech right now, and they're facing the best offense they have faced so far. You could say Washington State. Washington State not playing in high level competition like the Colorado Buffaloes are. So the defense from Tech, not good. That's not how they're going to win the football game if you're a Texas Tech Red Raider. It's going to be tortillas and it's going to be your offense. Now, quarterback for Texas Tech, he's missed some throws this year, and he's thrown it to the other team a lot. And I'm not sure if they want to continue with that guy. I know some fans are calling for the backup, but as my father-in-law likes to say, everyone, the backup quarterback is the best player on the team. Everybody always calls for the backup quarterback. I'm not sure if it's going to happen in this game if their starting quarterback stinks it up. But I wouldn't be surprised. You have a chance to beat Travis Hunter, Shedeur Sanders. I wouldn't be surprised to see a backup quarterback in this one if the starter isn't getting it done. Now, Colorado's defense is better than you would think. You would think Shedeur Sanders, Travis Hunter, offense, offense, offense. No. The defense, 30th ranked defense in the country, statistically, points wise. They're also really good on third down. I believe they're number 9 in third down percentage given up to the opposing offense. And they're really good in the red zone. Now, Tech is really good in the red zone as well. Just points overall. How many times have they been in? How many times do they come away with points? They're 6th in the country. Colorado, 8th in the country, or I believe they're 5th in the country in allowing teams not to score, in preventing scores when opposing teams enter the red zone. That's going to be something to look out for. Can Colorado's defense hold up in the red zone against a Tech offense that once they are in the red zone, they score points, whether that be field goals or touchdowns? Now, the gut, ladies and gentlemen, the gut is all over the Texas Tech Red Raiders. Now, I outlined how this could be a bad spot, but the gut isn't the gut doesn't care about the bad spot. It cares about who's going to cover, and it thinks Texas Tech is going to cover. When? I'm not sure, but we take Texas Tech plus the points. Georgia, -2.5 at Ole Miss. This is a fun one. Let me take a sip. It's hot in this sweatshirt. I would take it off, but I don't have a shirt on. Some of you would like that. Georgia at Ole Miss. Lane Kiffin. We got to talk about him. It's the elephant in the room. There's no elephant in here. Is he ever going to win the big game? And by the big game, he's never been to the big game, that being a national championship or a championship style game. He's never been there. But is he going to win his biggest game? This is it if you're Ole Miss and Lane Kiffin. This is the game. You got to get over that hump. They built for this game. Ole Miss built their team through the transfer portal with boatloads of money from the Mississippi fans. Excuse me. They built their team for this game right here. They knew Georgia was coming to Oxford, Mississippi. They knew Georgia was going to be a top 5 team when they got there. They knew their team wasn't good enough. So they went to the portal and said, hey, we'll take your best player. We'll take your best player. We'll take your best player. And we're going to stick them together and hopefully it works. Ole Miss has 2 losses. However, they are not out of it. They are not out of it. If they win this game, they are squarely in SEC championship conversation, playoff conversation. That would be the 3rd best win in all of college football. Probably the 2nd best. Oregon over Ohio State, and then Ole Miss over Georgia would be the 2nd best win in all of college football. Can Lane Kiffin get it done? We don't know. He hasn't done it yet. Doesn't mean he can't do it. But history would show he can't do it. Now, flip over to Georgia. Is it same old, same old? What's going on with Georgia right now? There's a little bit of turmoil. Offensively, Carson Beck is throwing the ball to the other team nonstop, all over the place. He loves giving the ball to the other team right now. 11 interceptions in his past 3 games. Now, I saw a stat where if he throws the ball over 40 times, boom, turnovers. If he doesn't throw the ball over 40 times, boom, no turnovers. Now, hopefully Georgia sees that and they recognize, hey, Carson, you're not going to throw the ball anywhere near 40 times this game. We're going to pound it down Ole Miss's throat. Now, pounding it down Ole Miss's throat, a little bit of an issue because Ole Miss has statistically the 10th ranked top 10 defense against the run all year. all year. So I would lean to the side thinking, hey, Carson Beck, he's probably going to throw the ball 40 times or more. Probably going to throw it 40 times or more. With how fast Ole Miss plays, there's going to be a lot of possessions in this game, and there's going to be a lot of plays in this game. That leads me to believe whoever wins the turnover battle, I'm about to wow you, okay? Listen to this. Whoever wins the turnover battle in this football game, they will win the game. They will win the game. Novel concept right there. Just a mind-blowing idea from me and Fritz right here. Whoever wins the turnover battle wins this game, and the gut tells me Carson Beck figures it out. He gets it under control, and Georgia will cover the 2.5, and they will win the game in Oxford, Mississippi, ladies and gentlemen. Army, number 25 team in the college football playoff rankings. I was shocked to see them in there, honestly. Didn't think I was going to be doing an Army game again, but I'm taking Army minus a 6 at North Texas. I would think the college football playoff people are hoping Army loses because they don't support our troops. OU at Missouri. I would have loved to get Missouri +3 earlier in the week when this game happened and it popped up on the betting apps, but we didn't because we didn't know Missouri was going to be ranked. Either way, there's something in the gut right now that tells me OU minus 2.5 is still too little against Missouri. Clemson minus 6.5 at Virginia Tech. We're taking the Hokies. Something from Clemson last week I did not love. Pretty much the entire game. I was saddened and it hurt me. We'll take the Hokies. Utah State, Washington State. It's Washington State. No brainer, baby. Virginia, Pitt. Give me Pitt all day. Iowa State, -3 at Kansas. Kansas, they've had a chance to win the game in the last 5 minutes of every single game they've lost. They're 2-6. They have had a chance. They've been favored, I believe, in the fourth quarter by the ESPN predictor on the little app. You know, it tells you percentage to win. Kansas has been in the green over 50% in every single loss they have had this year in the fourth quarter. I would think that trend continues, but I like Iowa State to win. Alabama, LSU, we just talked about this one. Nevada, Boise State. Give me Boise State Broncos -24.5. There's no competition for them right now in the Mountain West. None in my mind. Alabama, LSU again. Notre Dame, -26 at home against just one of the worst teams in college football right now in the Florida State Seminoles. Just a sad, my voice got a little lower right there because I'm a little sad for Florida State. BYU -4.5 at Utah. Utah is a shadow of themselves without Cam Rising. Even when he was in there, they're a shadow of themselves. Indiana, look, you know how much I love Indiana. I got them as my number 2 team in the country. I love me some Hoosiers right now. Give me Indiana -14 at home against Michigan. Mississippi State at Tennessee. Matt, Tennessee -23.5 is the play here. Tennessee hasn't allowed more than 20 points all year. Mississippi State, good offense. They continue to score points. I wouldn't be shocked if Mississippi State is the team that gets over 20 against Tennessee. However, Mississippi State's defense is abysmal, and I think this is the get-right game for Tennessee's offense. I like them to score a lot of points in this one. Washington at Penn State, -13 for the Nittany Lions. You guys know how much I think Penn State is not a very good football team. However, the gut told me you can't pick Washington. So we'll take Penn State -13. Florida at Texas. DJ Lagway, status uncertain. If he was playing, the gut was telling me Florida. But the gut can't tell the future. It can't say, hey, DJ Lagway's playing. So the gut told me if he's not playing, which he's not currently, we don't know, -21.5 for Texas. Off of a bye, mind you. Miami, -11 at Georgia Tech. Yellow Jackets. I just don't see how Georgia Tech can hang with that offense from Miami. I can't envision it. Purdue at Ohio State, -38 for Ohio State. If Ohio State wins this by 38 or more, this is one of those games where they prove Ian Fritts wrong and they say, hey, we are the number 2 team in the country. We're about to find out. Your number 1 team in the country, Oregon Ducks, -25 at home against Maryland. It's Oregon all day, every day. Maryland's got to go across the country. No chance. No chance. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the preview for week 11. Thank you for tuning in. Comment down below which of one of these picks you're gonna be going with. And clearly, we're doing something right with his 104 wins to 72 losses this year. Thank you for watching. Comment down below. Ian, you're awesome. We want a mug, and we'll get you a mug. Thank you for watching. I love you guys. Bye.
Oh, he has trouble with the snap, and the ball is free. It's picked up by Michigan State. Jalen Watts Jackson.